Did you get to watch the Britney Spears documentary?
Free Britney. Yes.
Yes, girl.
Which
So what do
episode
you
should be called
think?
Free Britney?
What do you think?
Okay. So, all right. It opened my eyes to a lot. However,
Mine too.
I was getting hints about like the whole her giving, you know how they were talking about like on her Instagram, like they think she was giving hints.
Hmm.
If you are on
I didn't know they
TikTok,
had a whole podcast about
yeah,
Britney's
I didn't
Instagram.
know
I didn't
that
know
either.
that.
That's really smart actually.
Hmm.
But if you are an avid TikTok user, I'm not like I don't post on TikTok, but I just be scrolling. But if you're on there enough, you'll see people be talking about Britney Spears like shit. So in the last, I'll say the last month maybe, I have been seeing stuff like that little Instagram post with the hat, and they people think it said help on it. Like I saw a TikTok talking
Oh
about
wow.
that. I've seen a few TikToks talking about certain Instagram posts. Like I saw one. Did you see on there? It was one somebody commented on one of her posts. If you need help, wear yellow, and somebody else said if you need help, do a twirl or something like that. And she wore yellow in the next post and twirled. Like
Mm.
she need, and then the one like the one when she was working out with her boyfriend or whatever, and he told her to smile. Like I saw that on TikTok before the documentary, so I low key was getting hit
You told her to smile.
in my research, huh?
What you mean? You told her to smile?
Like they were working out and you could see her face. She looked like she didn't want to be doing it in the video. She looked miserable actually. And then if you could see he said something to her, you can read his lips. He said smile, and then all of a sudden she just started cheesing really hard.
Mm.
So like they're making her do this shit.
I
It's
remember when.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It really gave me a lot of insight on Britney.
It's really
'Cause, you
sad.
know, she was like a laughing stock all these years. The laughing stock, and just
Mhm.
make fun of her actions and like her going crazy. But this was actually some real shit, and this really opened my eyes to like a lot of
You
things that
shade on
happened
it.
with
Like I'm gonna tell
her.
you, I did laugh at her, and I
Yeah, I didn't know better. I didn't know better. I
yeah,
didn't
I didn't
know.
know better either. At this point in my life, I would have never laughed at that.
Yeah, and remember when she was a judge on X Factor?
Yes, I used to watch.
I remember one time. I think it was Adrian said this. I think she was on the Real or something like that. I don't know, but they were talking about Britney Spears on the Real, right? I think it was the Real. It was somewhere they're talking about Britney Spears, and like Adrian was basically saying like, yeah, something's wrong with her, like, just saying like something's wrong with her, like she's going through something or something. Like, she was just saying like, something's wrong with her, she's crazy, like she's just weird, I don't know what's wrong, like, she was saying how weird she was and stuff. And she was saying how in X Factor, it will be people, because I guess like Adrian, she used to do like backstage correspondence or whatever the fuck on X
Right.
Factor. And so Adrian was like, yeah, like people would feed her lines to say. Like if I asked her a question, people would whisper it in her ear and like tell her what to say. And she thought that was weird. And I'm like, now
I
it's
just
just
kind of
making
seen it
sense though.
firsthand.
It's making
Yeah,
sense though. It's making sense. But
it's
no,
really
she was talking about it. But she was talking about it as like if Britney was just weird and crazy and stuff. But because she didn't really know the thing with that. But
right.
now
Like
that I
she's
think
being
about,
controlled.
I'm going back in my memory bank and I'm thinking about, oh wow, this time this happened. Maybe she was going through this, and maybe this was that, and they were controlling her here and there and this
Yeah,
and
it
that.
really helped me put a lot of pieces together.
Mhm, mhm.
It
And
definitely
then
did.
also, Justin Timberlake, he was trending because of the whole thing with how he played a role in the Britney hate train.
Hmm.
Because remember, so of course, like Britney and Justin were, they were like the iconic pop couple, like
Yeah.
and their whole thing was, remember, they were like supposed to be like this squeaky clean Disney image, like they were quote unquote virgins and things like that. And so when they broke up, Justin made it. To my understanding, I thought that Britney cheated on Justin with Kevin Federline. That's what the whole narrative was. But
Right.
who knows now? But anyway, they were supposed to be like these squeaky clean versions and stuff. But when Britney and Justin broke up, Justin was on like this little smear campaign and like, just saying little shady shit here and there throughout the media and stuff. And I think one of the questions was like, were you guys really virgins and things like that? And he basically was like, no, like I was fucking her, like like we were fucking, like, we were having sex, like
You're like, why the
she's
fuck
not
you
no damn
why?
virgin.
Why? Why would you say
But
that?
it was like that whole thing because it was just
Ugh.
fucked up. It was fucked up. And like even I remember the nigga, I don't know his name, but he played on Stomp the Yard. He played on Stomp the Yard,
Okay.
and he was Megan Good's boyfriend that was trying to control her. before Columbus Short took her from him.
I don't know his real name.
That nigga. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Y'all know
Yes,
what I'm talking about. He used to choreograph for a lot of the white pop singers and shit. Like he used to choreograph for NSYNC and Britney Spears and all them niggas.
I
And
cannot
I
think of his
remember
name.
I remember this video clip because it was after Britney and them broke up. Britney and
Is
Justin
his
broke
name
up.
Dern? I think his name is Dern.
Maybe. But it was after Britney and Justin broke up and Justin was like talking about Britney and saying like they weren't virgins and like, Britney's whatever the fuck, whatever. I remember a clip of the choreographer, the guy, saying
Mhm.
how like it would be late at night and they were like, he would catch them running back and forth between tour buses and like doing things here and there. So he never really believed that they were virgins. Just to that, it was to that effect. It
Okay.
was that. But it was that whole thing, and like this like it's like this Britney smear campaign. I believe, and then of course we all know Justin's like iconic song "Cry Me a River." The whole video was about Britney. He had a
Yeah.
whole Britney lookalike, and just endorsing that whole Britney hate train, and like Britney did me dirty. Britney's a hoe. She cheated on me with such and such, and "Cry Me a River."
Trash.
Yeah. So, but of course, Justin, he came out after, I don't know, fucking 15 years and apologized about it because, people were dragging him on
Yeah,
social
but
media
don't nobody
because
want your apology now,
that
bitch.
whole documentary, like, unfold like the whole documentary revealed a lot of fucking shit we did not fucking know, and of
Mhm.
course, like he was trending, and people call him a fucking a scumbag for that bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
People on TikTok
But
right now, everybody hates him on TikTok.
But the thing is, it was that, and then they also brought up the whole Janet Jackson shit because with the whole Janet Jackson shit, if you don't
Mhm.
remember that whole Super Bowl thing, when he was doing his whole shit, he was not very apologetic at all, and like he was just being very rude and disrespectful about the whole. He was being very insensitive about the whole situation,
Yeah, he was.
and then of course, Janet, she lost a lot of fucking endorsement deals, and
And I
and
never
and she was
understood why, because that
blackballed
was
for
not even her fault.
years,
That was not
for
her fault.
years. But because she's a black woman and they're gonna side with this white man, of course,
It's just so fucked up. Like she's
of
Janet
course.
Jackson. She is a legend. Do you
But that
understand?
don't matter when it comes to it. That don't matter when it comes to race and being racist and being a bigot and all that shit. That don't fucking matter.
What the fuck?
She was Michael Jackson's little sister, and they did that shit to her.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
fucked up shit to her. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's
She
fucked
did
up.
not agree to that
But
shit.
then, but then I will give Justin this credit though. I do remember some clips though of like back then he did go on like different like talk shows and stuff and like did talk about how he carried himself very poorly when it came to that whole Janet thing, and
Yeah, I have heard
he
that.
is aware of like the racial bias and things like that. So I will say that, but this is the first time I've ever seen him write anything about Britney, apologizing to Britney at all.
Right, exactly. And that's the problem because now nobody wants your apology, bitch. It's too late.
Well, yeah, I think I will say this. I think that Justin does try hard to acknowledge his white privilege and tries to denounce his white privilege as well.
Mhm.
So I will say that because he works with so many fucking black people. It's just like
I will say that, but
you have to do something. You have to say something. You know what I'm saying?
it's just I just don't like that as far as when it comes to Britney, I just don't like how now that everything's coming to the light and people are bashing you online, now you want to go and say something. Where was that shit 15 years ago?
He was just living
Like
his life, didn't give a fuck. Hmm.
he was just a young dumb nigga, I guess, or boy.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
Young and
Cry
dumb.
Me a River is still my favorite fucking song of Justin
I still
Timberlake's. I
look
will
like
say.
that song is a bop. I don't give like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna take it
Yeah.
off my phone, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean I already knew it was about Brandy, but I'm really gonna think about her when I hear this shit. I'm gonna think about the
I
documentary.
mean, you didn't think. I mean, it was the video had a
I
Britney
know, but
lookalike in
I
it.
really am. I don't even know last time I watched that video.
Mm.
But yeah,
This is the thing, right? With like white privilege, it's white privilege, and it's programmed into white people at a young age. So they think that sometimes they're not very cognizant of of their privilege. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
they're not.
So I will. I'm not going to give him quote unquote props for like being a decent person by apologizing and like being vocal about it or whatever. Because I do think that whole Twitter that damn tweet that whole apology seemed very orchestrated, very like publicist or
Mm,
whatever. But still, it is still nice to like hear a white person like explicitly say, I have these advantages. What I did was wrong,
I
and
mean, yeah, it's nice to hear them
this is why
acknowledge
it's
it.
wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice to hear that. I will say that, but
I can
yeah,
agree with that. I can
yeah,
agree with that. I will
yeah,
say that, even though I'm like, we don't want your apology. I will say it. You right. It is nice to hear that because that ain't something you hear all the time or every day from a
yeah.
white person. So I take,
But he still ain't shit for like the whole thing.
yeah, he
So
still
I will
ain't,
say
but
that.
I'll take that much.
Yeah,
It's done now. It's over and done.
yeah.
I just want to
The
prove
damage is done. Like Janet, or it's already done. It's already done.
Mm-hmm.
And he also performed at the Super Bowl too, like a couple years ago too. So it's
Yeah, I
like
know. People were mad about that.
it was just, but that whole album that he dropped like a couple years ago was, I just couldn't
That
get to.
what was
I
that shit
couldn't get
called?
into
Into
it.
the Woods or
It's
something
clear, yeah,
stupid.
or yeah, into the or Man of the Woods or Neck of the Woods
That
or some
album
shit like
was
that.
so
Yeah, I just
it was
wasn't.
just I don't even that would if he never dropped that album, he would be in the same position he is now. Like I don't think that album
Right.
helped him at all.
It was useless.
It
Like
did not
I don't
like
even
that
think
album could
it
have
was
never
just.
came out
It
and he'd
just
be in the
was.
same
It was
position.
not it. It was not it. Now he
He'd be
trying
in the same position in his career
Now
he
he
is
trying to
now.
take pictures in the studio with Meek Mill and Lizzo and shit. And yeah.
I mean,
But anyhow,
if I was a singer or rapper, I would want a song with Justin Timberlake. I won't lie.
yeah, of course. I mean, it's business.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's business, and he got them vocals. I mean,
Yeah.